Montessori Grandma. Episode 50. The Story of a Potato Chip.
The Story of a Potato Chip, a project done in Senior Elementary that combines botany and zoology. Written and presented by Geeta Vijayachandran. The journey of a potato chip starts from the farm. Potato farming, a staple in many regions, involves several key steps from land preparation to harvest. Healthy seed potatoes, well suited for the region's climate and soil type, are crucial for a successful crop. What soil is ideal? Soils which are naturally loose and offer least resistance to the enlargement of the tubers is preferred. Loamy and sandy soil, rich in organic matter with good drainage and aeration, is most suitable for cultivation of potato crop. Land preparation. The land is plowed at a depth of 24 to 25 centimeters and exposed to the sun. The soil should have a higher pore space and offer least resistance to tuber development. Well decomposed organic matter is mixed with the soil during the last plowing. Season of planting. Potatoes can be grown only under conditions where the temperatures during the growing season are moderately cool. Therefore, the planting time varies from region to region. Potato planting time varies by region and climate, with some areas planting in late summer or early fall and others in the winter. Method of planting. Furrows are opened at a distance of 50 to 60 centimeters before planting. The whole or cut tubers are planted 15 to 20 centimeters apart on the center of the ridge at a depth of 5 to 7 centimeters and covered with soil. The seed rate of potato depends upon the season of planting, duration, seed size, spacing, etc. Irrigation and fertilization. Irrigation. Regular watering is needed, especially during tuber development. In fertilization, potatoes are heavy feeders requiring adequate nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Pest and disease management. Regularly check for pests and take appropriate measures. Fungicides can be used to prevent or control diseases. Harvesting and storage. Harvest when the plant top starts to dry out. Let potatoes rest in a cool, dry, and dark place for a few weeks to strengthen the skin before storing. Potatoes are mainly propagated vegetatively, that is cloning, using tubers. How long do potatoes take to get ready? Potatoes typically take between 90 and 120 days to grow, depending on the variety. Early season varieties can be ready in 60 to 80 days, while late season varieties may take 100 to 130 days. The exact time frame also depends on factors like area, soil type, and the specific potato cultivar. What is the life cycle of a potato? In 15 to 30 days after planting, sprouting begins and shoots emerge. Tubers begin forming in 15 to 30 days. Tubers begin filling out in 45 to 90 days after emergence. Plant grows flowers during this stage. The flowers can be white, purple, or pink, and maturity is reached in 90 to 120 days after emergence. Potatoes are ready to harvest then. Potato harvesting typically involves a few key steps. First, you need to determine when the potatoes are mature, often indicated by the dying foliage and the skin hardening. Then, you can manually pull out the plants or use a digging implement to lift the potatoes from the ground. Finally, you'll want to ensure the potatoes are properly cured and stored to maintain their quality. Timing is key. Foliage. Look for the majority of the leaves turning yellow-brown, indicating maturity. Tuber skin. Wait until the tuber skins are firm and tough, indicating they are no longer easily damaged. Avoid frost. Harvest before a hard frost, as frost can damage the tubers. Harvesting methods. Manual pulling. Suitable for small gardens, container gardens, and raised beds. Pull the plant up and gently detach the tubers from the roots. Digging. Use a shovel or other digging tool to lift the potatoes from the ground. Potato diggers, mechanized diggers, that is bullock drawn or tractor drawn, can be used for larger fields exposing the tubers. Post-harvest care. Curing. Allow the potatoes to cure for 10 to 15 days in a cool, dark and well-ventilated area, which helps the skin harden and reduces bruising. Storage. Store potatoes in a cool, dark and dry place around 50 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit to prevent sprouting and decay. Sorting. Remove any damaged or rotten tubers before storage. From farm to factory, potatoes are grown, harvested and transported to a processing plant. Cleaning and peeling potatoes. Potatoes are collected from various farming plantations and transported to factories to undergo manufacturing. They are placed through a machine that automatically washes and peels the exterior, where the results aim to provide accuracy and precision to ensure its quality is attained for the next steps of preparation. Slicing is done in a machine. The primary function of a slice washer is to remove the starch from the potatoes. After it has been sliced and cleansed, they are placed onto a conveyor belt that is beneath two hot air vents that remove the water from the surface of each chip slice. The next step is deep frying. After the potato slices have been cleaned and surface dried by the hot air vents, they are placed into the dry deep frying cooker that contains hot oil at a temperature between 176.6 degrees centigrade to 190.5 degrees centigrade. Deep frying. The thickness of each slice should be consistent and have approximately the same amount of cooking time. The potato slice becomes a potato chip once it has completely been fried, dried, and retains a crispy texture and refined golden brown color. Excess oil is removed and filtered out from the deep frying machine to produce potato chips with a minimal oil coating on the exterior surface. Salting can be done at home or at the factory. When all potato chips have been fried, they are placed onto a conveyor belt where salt is sprinkled on the chip's surface to enhance its flavoring. Once they have finished the salting process, they are then packed and sealed into bags and which are filled with nitrogen gas. Seasoning and packaging. The fried chips are seasoned with salt or other flavors and then packaged for distribution to stores. So here you can see some samples. The steps taken from potato to chip. Preparing the chips is the first step. At the plant, potatoes are washed, peeled and sliced into thin strips. Blanching and frying. The slices are blanched, that is partially cooked, and then fried in hot oil until they reach a golden brown color and become crispy. Seasoning and packaging. The fried chips are seasoned with salt or other flavors and then packaged for distribution to stores. Consumption. The packaged chips are purchased by consumers who enjoy them as a snack or with a meal. Digestion. The chip is eaten, digested, and the nutrients are absorbed by the body. Now let us look at our digestive system first. We can see the human body, where you can see all the parts that are involved in the digestion of food. Nutrition and digestion. Nutrition is a process by which organisms obtain food and utilize it to get energy and build their bodies. Digestion is a process of breaking down complex food substances into simple, absorbable forms. A chip ends up in a bowl ready to be eaten. It has to go through many stages inside the human. Ingestion, taking in a food. Digestion, breaking food into simpler forms. Absorption, nutrients enter bloodstream. Assimilation, nutrients used by cells. and egestion is removal of undigested waste. Let us hear a potato chip say its story. I was one of those chips in the bowl. I was put into the mouth, and the teeth chewed me into small pieces. Glands in the cheeks and under the tongue made saliva that coated me. Amylase in saliva chemically digested the starch in me. The mixing process was lubricated by mucin, a slippery protein in saliva. This is called mechanical digestion. This made it easier to chew and swallow me. This is when chemical digestion starts. Saliva also has a special chemical called an enzyme, which starts breaking down carbohydrates into sugars. And then I was made into a small ball called a bolus and was pushed to the back of the mouth by the tongue. Involuntary muscle contractions in the pharynx then pushed the bolus down towards the esophagus. My next journey was through the esophagus. A ring of muscle at the end of the esophagus led me into the stomach and stopped stomach contents from going back up to the esophagus. In the esophagus, the bolus was moved along by rhythmic contractions of the muscles present in its walls. The contractions of the esophagus massaged me down into the stomach. For a medium-sized bolus, it takes about 5 to 8 seconds to reach the stomach. When I reached the stomach broke me down with gastric juices to help with digestion and absorption of vitamins and minerals. The stomach is a muscular bag, and it served me to help break me down mechanically as well as chemically. Strong muscular contractions in the stomach wall reduced me to chyme, a thick, milky material. I was then squeezed through a pyloric sphincter at the lower end of the stomach into the first part of the small intestine called the duodenum. Once in the duodenum, I was mixed with more digestive enzymes from the pancreas and bile from the liver. I was then squeezed into the lower parts of the small intestine called the jejunum and the ileum. Nutrients are absorbed from the ileum, which is lined with millions of finger-like projections called villi. Each villus is connected to a mesh of capillaries. This is how nutrients pass into the bloodstream. The small intestine of an adult is around 5 meters long and made up of many bends and folds. It took me 3 to 5 hours from the entry to the duodenum to exit from the ileum. Most of the chemical digestion of proteins, fats, and carbohydrates happened in the small intestine. The small intestine mixed me with digestive juices from the pancreas, liver, and its own lining. The small intestine absorbed the nutrients into the bloodstream through villi, small finger-like projections. Blood capillaries absorbed glucose and amino acids. Lacteal, the lymph, absorbed fatty acids and glycerol, and thus complete the absorption of the end products of digestion. Transport of nutrients. After absorption, nutrients are transported to the different parts of the body. Blood transports carbohydrates, proteins, vitamins, and minerals. Lymph transports fats. Portal vein transports absorbed nutrients from the intestine to the liver. Hepatic vein carries blood from the liver to the heart. Once all the nutrients in me were absorbed, the waste was moved into the large intestine or bowel. Undigested fiber is mixed with mucus and bacteria, which breaks down some of the fiber to keep the large intestine healthy. Undigested remains of food are passed through a one-way muscular valve into the first part of the large intestine known as the caecum, a small pouch that acts as a temporary storage site. By the time food remains have reached this point, about 5 to 12 hours have elapsed. The large intestine absorbs water, minerals, and vitamins. Solid bowel motions, such as a feces or poo, are formed and stay in the last part of the large intestine, that is a rectum, before leaving the body through the anus as a bowel movement. The large intestine absorbs water from the remaining undigested food, forming stool. Undigested waste is eliminated through the anus. What about the liver? We should not forget the liver. The liver has a number of different roles in the body, including breaking down fats using bile stored in the gallbladder, processing proteins and carbohydrates, filtering and processing impurities, drugs and toxins, generating of glucose for short-term energy needs from other compounds like lactate and amino acids. What work does the pancreas do? The pancreas has a dual function. Its exocrine function produces digestive enzymes to break down carbohydrates, fats, and proteins, while its endocrine function produces hormones like insulin and glucagon to regulate blood sugar levels. The enzymes travel to the small intestine where they help digest the food, and the hormones are released into the bloodstream to maintain the body's energy balance. Let us look at the digestive organs and the enzymes. Here we have the organs, the mouth first, and the enzyme or secretion is salivary amylase, and function is starch digestion. So I have given the full list, what happens in the mouth, the stomach, liver, pancreas, small intestine, large intestine, and what are the enzymes or secretions which are used, and what is the function of each of these parts. Each part of the digestive system has a work to do. Digestion is the whole process of breaking down food so our body can use it, and it starts the moment you take a bite. So here ends my journey. Nutrients in me are absorbed by the body, and the undigested part is removed through the anus. So we come to the end of the story of a chip. This is a project that was done by the children while I was working in St. Andrews in Scotland. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. This is Geeta Vijaychandran signing off.
Montessori Grandma.